We ready?
Yep.
I'm getting nervous, y'all. Okay. Welcome to our final episode of Calm Convos with Paige. This episode, we are talking about my faith journey, how it started and how it got to where it is right now, and how my journey impacts my children, and how to raise God-fearing, God-loving children. Stay tuned.
Good. Cold open. I want
So I just want to start by saying that I credit my relationship with our Creator to my grandmother, who I think, like many other grandmamas, pray and pray and pray for us. And I am blessed to have a grandmother who cared about our relationship with God. So that's where my journey to finding and building that relationship began. My granny Thelma, was a Jehovah's Witness, and it was not fun going to those meetings every week. This is a safe space. That was so boring. Like they stood up on I don't know if it's called the pulpit when you were a Jehovah's Witness, but they would stand up there and they would read out of the watchtower. Do you know what the watchtower? Do you know any Jehovah's Witnesses?
I used to, and then my mom had a friend who was a Jehovah's Witness. But
you never been to a meeting?
No.
They are so boring. But their point is like straight to business. This ain't no singing. This ain't no praising, all of that. This is God. Get to know him because he coming back, and we need to spread the good news to everybody. And when we were younger, I did not like going to that, but it did help build that foundation because I enjoyed spending time with my granny, and she was just the sweetest lady. She cussed you out. She was real feisty, but it was like a nurturing thing for her to make sure that we got the word, we read our scriptures, and we had our devotionals. So I think that's where it started. And then we also went to church. So my granny was a Jehovah's Witness. Her husband, Daddy Bob, my grandpa, he was, I want to say Baptist. I don't know all them denominations. I'm not gonna lie, but so we went to church there too. Like our whole family used to go. Our cousins, aunts, like especially if we spent the night at one of our aunts' house, we all had to get up 7, 8 o'clock to go to church, and that was cool too, but I didn't want to get up early because, we was up late at a sleepover. That's what you do. You stay up late. So that's where it started, and how I was introduced to it. And then, over the years of like being able to go on my own as a preteen, teenager, adult, I had started going to Good Shepherd Baptist Church. Is in Cleveland, but it's like on the border between Cleveland and Euclid. And so I started going there with one of my friends who was doing, they had like Bible study and like a teen night. And hold on, wait, I missed one. Before that, Lee Memorial on 105 in St. Clair. How could I forget that? We used to go there, and we did the summer school, the Bible study, all of that. And that's where I met my friend. And then we ended up going to the same school together. That was like God's will for that. And that was fun. It was a little more engaging for teenagers than sitting in service, because they made it to where we could understand it and we wanted to talk about it and learn more about it. Honestly, I think I was really going because my friend was there, so it was more of a social thing for me, that I just also picked up some Jesus on the way. Then we started going to Good Shepherd, and we did the Bible studies and the Awana on Tuesdays, I think, or Wednesday. That's fun. That's where I actually met my children's father. But back then, we were like 15, 16. We were not looking at each other like that. We were just happy to be around our friends and also learning and building our relationship with God. But then there was something, like a moment where I think once I got a little bit older and I started to understand what was required from us in our journey, where I was starting to notice that I was falling short of what God wanted from us. So up until, what was I, 19 or 20, I was a virgin. So like sex, I was not thinking about sex. And that was like, I mean, I was thinking about it because, you know, life. But it was something that I did not want to do. And a lot of people laughed at me because I used to walk around with a combination lock on my pants. And, you know, my cousins especially would be like, why do you have that on? That's Jake. That's weird. What is that? And I'd be like, I'm saving myself until I'm married. I'm not having sex. And, you know, they were sexually active. I don't want to tell their business, but, you know, they were. And so it was like, girl, that's weird to have that lock. But for me, it was like, that's my choice. And God say that you're supposed to wait, so I'm going to wait till I'm married and in love and bloop, bloop. Well, that didn't work. It didn't happen. I fell in love and things kind of changed a little bit. And that was a moment, and I felt a little guilt about it after a while. Like going to church still and knowing that I was having sex, premarital sex, was hard for me to do and continue to do and enjoy doing, because I knew that it wasn't what I initially wanted to do because of what God said. So my whole purpose is to like keep that relationship with God, do things that I want to do and I'm ready for, so that I don't feel guilt about it later. Because I also think that, you know, I believe that God is in us. He is with us. He's going to guide our decisions. And I don't want to make a decision that I'm not fully 100% in on. And I can't be 100% in on a decision if it doesn't align with what God has for my life.
Yeah, how does your faith intersect with your journey of parenthood and the values and beliefs that guide you to parenting decisions? And then introducing God to your children.
So I've always believed, and it's probably from that foundation of my granny taking us to the hall and the meetings and the idea and value that we should treat people the way we want to be treated. And so I pretty much live by that. And because I say that I'm full of God's love, I should be spreading that, and I should be exemplifying that to people around me. And, you know, the first place I start is with myself, and then it spreads into my home. And while I don't want to feel like, or want my children to feel like I'm forcing something on them where they didn't have a choice, and they, like, getting up for church every morning, if I had the choice as a kid, I probably wouldn't have done it. But giving them that choice to wanting to do things. So we start simple, like I've started simple, and I'll pray over my meal because I'm grateful for that meal. I didn't get it on my own. God provided that for me. Or the opportunity to get up and get a job and go work or whatever. Like, that was given to me by God. It was a gift, a blessing. And so I make sure that I show them, this is how you show your gratefulness. This is how you give thanks. And, you know, so whether they decide to thank God for it or thank the earth, whatever, at least they are having that core value of gratefulness. We pray before bed, and I know that they don't understand God, Jesus, but at least they're grateful for the day. They are appreciative of the day. Because I don't want to force things on people. I want to give them the information just like with everything else. I'll give them the information, the education, teach them things, and then I'll let them make their own decisions, and God willing, they'll make the right decision. But that's where that grace comes in, because God has given me so much grace. I have made the wrong decision many, many times. And I think that those decisions got me to where I am because we have free will. And with that free will comes me having to ask for mercy, that, Lord, if I make a mistake, have mercy on me, you know. And so I just want my children to want to know more about God. And so I started off, we pray. We actually do service, like we go to church. We watch online church because, you know, my daughter says she want to go to church. So that's what we'll do. And she's only 4, so I don't know if it's the spirit in her that's like, she knows that this is the right thing to do, or if it's like outside influences. Could be both. I don't know. What do you believe? Do you believe in spirituality? Are you religious?
Not religious, but I used to be very religious. Now I'm more into spirituality, I guess, and exploring that. So I do like that you're letting them have their own choice, and that you're not forcing it. That's something that I'm sure you know that plenty of older generations did to their kids or grandkids, whatever it may be, and like you don't get the option to ask questions, but asking questions like gives you more understanding, and it doesn't mean that you're completely doubtful. So that's something I compliment or commend that you're doing, because
Thank you.
It's being willing to let them make whatever path they want for their lives and not you controlling their lives. But I wish I had that. I think that would have changed a lot of the way I was religious and like beating people down.
Yeah.
Being self-righteous.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me anymore.
I can adopt you. We could start over.
Okay. Wait, but you're only 3 years old. I'm for adult adoption, but when they're like someone who's 10 years younger than you, maybe.
Yeah.
Can you find me another family?
Nope, sorry, I'm all you got.
Okay, I'll take it. So, how do you navigate challenges or conflicts that arise when balancing faith teachings with modern perspectives on positive parenting?
You know, the first thing that popped in my head is how I discipline my children. And a lot of people, this is not funny, but a lot of people really think that whooping your kids is the only way to discipline them. I think that might be like the hardest part about it, the most difficult part, because you know there's this the verse of spare the rod, spoil the child, even though it's taken out of context. But I mean, I don't know the whole thing. I'm not that type. I ain't that far matured into my Christianity, but I've read the verse and I see it being taken out of context. The way I interpret it is like, as parents and as adults, we are expected to be wiser. We are expected to be the teachers of our children and of the new generation. And when we don't pass down that wisdom and we spare that wisdom, then that child is not going to get what they need. Because like I said, discipline isn't only physical discipline. It's correction. It's redirection. And for me, I think that, yeah, I could whip my kids when they don't do what I say or if they don't move fast enough. But what is that teaching them? And that's like one of the big values of positive parenting, which is, you know, communicating with them. What is that action communicating? Because I could whoop them all day long. I could put that cup in your room. If they don't move, I could slap them in the head. All they gonna know is I should be scared if I forget something. Because honestly, sometimes that's what happens. They forget to put it away or clean their room or whatever. So I just have to be intentional and mindful about what it is that I want to teach them and what wisdom I want to pass down to them, because honestly, I've been here a little bit longer. I'm not that much older than them, but I know a few things, and the things that I do know, I should be passing that on to them, not so that they be afraid and they're fearful, but so that they have all the information so they could do better and be better than me. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think that physically disciplining is the only way to to be a leader. I don't think that that's what they mean by spoiling the child. If I don't hit them, then they're going to be spoiled. But I don't know. I'm no like theologist or nothing like them.
Yeah. I would say
I don't know.
that there's a lot of context around the verse.
Yeah.
What do we know?
We don't know
Just
nothing.
Millennial. So what role does community support play in nurturing your faith?
Community support. I mean, I think going back to going to church with my friends, and they were excited to go. You know, I don't know if it was for the same reasons that I was, but now it's me seeking out that wisdom that I want to pass on. Mm-hmm. So I need that community because I'm still new in this. I'm only 32. And like my journey has been up and down of feeling a lot of guilt, feeling a lot of I don't want to say hatred because that's a lot, but some shame about my decisions and just being so hard on myself, not giving myself grace. Like I know I've mentioned before in an earlier episode, not giving myself that grace to make mistakes. If God can give me that, who am I? You know, not saying that I should just go out and not live my best life and be the best person that I can be, but I can make mistakes and they're forgiven. So that community just helps me to correct any misconception that I might have about God, things that I thought that was true about them, as far as God hates sinners. He hates sin. He loves all of us. And that's something that was really hard for me. And without the community that I had and the people who were a little more seasoned in their relationship with God and with Christ, I probably would have, I wouldn't be able to speak to myself kindly and with grace. Maybe I would because I am that girl. Okay.
Therapy and church community.
Yeah. It's definitely therapy definitely helps. And I think they go together. We need therapy. We need Jesus. Or God or our creator or the Most High or, whoever you believe in that inspires you to be your best self. We need that. And we also need to stay connected to that faith.
And other humans that believe in it.
Yeah.
What message would you like to share with listeners about the interconnectedness of faith, womanhood, and parenting, and how those three things can play a role in shaping a fulfilling and purposeful life?
I would say to really love who you are, get to know who you are, and then love that and nurture who you are. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. It is conditioned for us as women to take care of everyone around us. We have to be so nurturing. We are the mothers, and sometimes we lose track of who we are. I think that as a woman, I need to be a woman first. And I need to look out for my individual self. I need to strengthen my faith. I need to do things that I love, things that fill up my cup. Because there's no cup of jewels if I don't take care of what Jules needs. And then, you know, after that, it'll flow. So God pours into me, and then I'll pour into my children. I'll pour into my friends. I'll pour into my family, the families that I work with, you know, so that they can pour into their environments, their people, their family, their friends. But I can't help anyone else, and we can't help anyone else until we take care of ourselves. So I would say take care of yourself, not to be selfish, but sometimes you have to be selfish because you cannot give if you do not have.
That doesn't mean just like we were talking about shoving your kids out
Yeah.
in the therapy.
But, you know.
But in a healthy kind of way of communicating, I guess.
Yeah. Don't push people away, because I still very much value community and those relationships. But definitely don't neglect who you are.
For the sake of others.
For the sake of others.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be with you.
Because at the end of the day has to end. And you are the only one there. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and decide, is that who I like? Do I even know this person? And yeah.
Good.
There is a affirmation that I wrote to myself because I'm a writer. And I think that it fits perfectly with this whole process and this whole journey of taking an idea that I had to create this podcast and to actually bringing it to life and seeing it through. Because it really was a process to get out of my head and see something come to life. I love to see it in my head, but I never see it through to seeing the life that it can go off and be. Okay, so I wrote, I've transcended what I was thought to be or what others felt I ought to be, and became who I was meant to be, someone who's proud of me. And just hearing it out loud is like, I feel like a weight lifted. Like, I wrote it, I said it, I feel it about myself, but to actually share it feels a little different. And I feel good, I feel proud, I feel blessed, I feel grateful, I feel very full that hopefully something that I said, something that I shared touches someone else and they feel connected to themselves, to me, to others. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, everyone for supporting me, and I am just so grateful for this opportunity, and I will see you next time. I was sick. I was giving a chicken nugget. Keep that.
In the bloopers.
Yeah. Welcome to the final episode of the season of Calm Convos. A gut is not the same thing as a fupa. The fupa is like right here. There's just a little pudge.
You look like you got some abs going.
Hey! I bought these.